Protect your business from the fastest growing crime of the 21st century. Find out here. You're watching Technology Review. Welcome to an episode of Technology Review for February 16th, 2018. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. Technology Review is a show that helps inform and educate the public on today's fastest growing crime of the 21st century, and that is cybercrimes, folks, identity theft and fraud. Did you know that every 2 seconds someone has their identity stolen from a cyber criminal? Over 16 million new victims are reported to law enforcement every year, according to the Justice Department. Every year, someone has been hacked by a cyber attacker. And if you've been watching the news, folks, especially this week, you have been very surprised that as of today, February 16th, our federal government has filed 13 indictments on Russian operatives working with American companies and individuals in a Russian attack on our election system for 2016. That's right, folks. The indictment's been handed down, and it is getting deeper. We've talked about this for years and years, folks, that the Russians and other foreign entities, foreign countries that are unfriendly to the United States are trying to hack into our social and cultural habits using social media. So we're going to discuss how that was done and how these cyber criminals have been trying to get information and have gotten information and affected our society. But first, I want to give thanks to our sponsor of our show, and thank you for being part of us, Technology Review here. We wanted to give thanks to our followers as well. Let's give a quick shout out really quick if we can to Amber, Fred, Peter, Dennis, and the Martine family. Thank you very much, folks, for being part of our show here. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find any shows that you've missed, you can go to my website. That's my website, folks, at macjacksonjr.com. Click on Technology Review and be able to see some of the shows from the past. Also, thanks to our sponsors, very awesome sponsors being part of our show. They include Canon copiers and scanners. Appreciate them. We also have Nevada Bankers Association. Thank you very much. Tier A Consulting Group, Martin Harris Construction, and of course MJ Computer Concepts. Thank you very much for being part of our show, being part of Technology Review here every Friday at 3 p.m. If you'd like to find out more information about my new book that I have, go to my website as well. So you can go to my website and find my new book we have out called How to Protect Your Family from Identity Theft and Fraud. It sells for $19.95. Buy a copy of it today, and after you finish reading it, give it to a friend so they can understand as well this information that we need to have. Folks, I say it all the time, information and knowledge is power, and the best way to fight cyber crimes is through information and education. That's the best way, folks, so we can do that. In today's episode, we're talking about how to fight against identity theft and fraud, what we can do to do that. We're going to talk about, in our business segment, we're going to have Vernon Dixon. Vernon Dixon will be with us as well here, talk about Bitcoin and what's going on with Bitcoin. We may have him extend our next segment into our tech gadget segment, but if not, we're going to have tech gadgets and the green energy technology. So that's what we have set up for you folks. For today, we'll start off with our lead story today on the Russian hacking and our federal government handing down 13 indictments against Russian operatives. In today's news, the federal government handed down 13 indictments against Russian operatives, and there are four Americans that are part of the Trump administration that will be also collaborating with law enforcement and what they know about any of the Russian hacking that happened in 2016 as well. Definitely check your Google or CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC for further information on that. But let me tell you how it affects us as far as hacking and cybersecurity is concerned. How this happens, folks, is using our social media. If you have an account on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can set up an account. Anyone can set up an account. What these hackers were doing were setting up fake profiles under these particular accounts and then creating groups. These groups would have fraudulent American groups that do not exist, but when they were created, they would create a meme or a post or invite Americans to look at this information that they're having that was fake. That's the term fake news. That's really interesting how that was used. It was projected as a projection using the term fake news because the actual enemy was actually using fake news with these fake profiles. Then in turn, we would look at these profiles, join these actual groups, and recommend our friends to join these groups as well, thinking that they are actually real and true, legitimate groups or individuals. These groups were not. These groups were created not as a hoax, but created as a way to change the public opinion. Now think about that, folks. It's really interesting. Advertisers have done this for millennials, have used social means of changing public's opinion on products and services for decades. Not through electronic means, though. They've used other means through newspapers and advertising. But now our own culture has been used against us. So when someone tells you, hey, go search for something in Google, and you may think it is a legitimate site, the site itself, folks, can be fake. You have to be very careful now on what you search for on the internet, because what you see may be not what you get. Just think about that, folks. That is how it happens, and that is what these countries have been doing. There are 3 countries now that are being suspect. That includes Russia, North Korea, and China. So what can we do as individual citizens of the U.S.? Well, what we can do is the information I just told you now, we'll do the same thing that they have been doing and we have been doing for millennials. You tell someone else. You tell them the truth. You tell them what's going on. And you have them research it. Look for articles by legitimate news services. And check out the news services. If you see a blog or read something on the internet, you check out the source where it's from. And that's easy to do. There are several ways to do that. We're going to discuss that more and more as these shows go on, about how you can research these sources. So definitely take a look at this, folks. It's very imperative as citizens of the U.S. that we are on top of what's going on, because what's happening out there now, folks, it's absolutely amazing how our own freedoms and independence and in marketing and capitalism is being turned against us and convincing us stories that are not true and making it true. And then we tell other people about it, then that lie is spread, and then something else that's supposed to happen doesn't really happen, and that's the actual truth. So definitely research your information there, folks, before you do it. Now, as far as your information, your identity, well, as this was happening, one of the indictments, there's a U.S. person that also got indicted, and they were indicted for identity theft and fraud. That's right, folks. Cybersecurity professionals, we have been talking about this for years, that underground, nefarious agents are trying to put together a profile of individuals and then take that information and put it out on the black market. Put that information on the black market. That's what they're trying to do. So we need to fight against that. And the best ways we can do that is through education. So the best ways you can do that, you can contact other cybersecurity professionals around the world in your city, find one, and talk to them and consult with them and ask them what you can do to improve your business posture to protect or mitigate the damages of identity theft and fraud. You could also contact my company, MJ Computer Concepts, myself, Mac Jackson Jr. And with my programs and services, we can help you mitigate the damage of identity theft and fraud with webinars, training, workshop, speaking engagements, training your employees. Contact my office, folks. My phone number is 702-868-0808. That's 702-868-0808. And we'll be able to arrange and set up a customized program for your organization and make sure that you have the proper tools and equipment in your organization to give you an extra hand when it comes to a cyber attack in your organization with your personal identifying information. So we have a lot in store for you today, folks, in our show today, so definitely stay tuned. With my next upcoming guest, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the blockchain and what's going with Bitcoin. Is it good? Is it bad? How does it affect with the stock market? Things you should know, folks. We'll be right back here on Technology Review after words from our supporters and our sponsors. We'll be right back. Thank you.